Traveling should not be your end goal. Now, don't get me wrong. I have traveled all over the world, and I do think it's a good idea to travel, but it shouldn't be the end goal. Okay, so when you ask someone, hey, if you had $1 million, if you had all the money in the world, or if you were retired, you didn't have to work anymore, what would you do? What do people always say that they're going to do? Travel. They always say, I'm going to travel. And this is fine. This is fantastic. Like I said, I'm a young guy, but I've been really fortunate. I've been able to travel all over the world now. But after having done so much traveling, I realized that it is not the most important thing and that it shouldn't be the end all be all. In fact, my goal when I'm retired, if I'm still alive, is to be able to spend time with my grandkids and my family and cherish those small, simple moments. Even though I'm still a young guy, I really cherish a home base and having a community. I think that this is more important than traveling the world. I have some close friends who have traveled all over the world, and they've seen a bunch of cool things, tried a bunch of different foods, done all the travel stuff, all the sexy things that we see on Instagram and YouTube, and oh man, I want to do that. Why am I not doing that? But the reality is, the romance of travel quickly fades, and as you've done more traveling, you quickly realize that it's not nearly as important as building something meaningful, as having a deep romantic relationship or close friendships or a community. So a weird, thing I was thinking about when I was traveling, I was in Europe recently. I was thinking about how much I missed my community, and I used to volunteer delivering meals to the elderly. And just simple things like that, where it's not glamorous, it's not sexy, it's not luxurious, but that would bring a lot of meaning and purpose to my life. And oftentimes what happens when you do travel for an extended period of time is it becomes almost a bit empty and you feel kind of bad. I don't know how to describe it to you. At least this is the way I feel, because ultimately what ends up happening is you become way more of a consumer than a creator. So you're taking way more than you're giving. Sure, you could, create things on your travels and kind of have a purpose behind your traveling, which I think is the way to go. If you're going to go travel to a place, don't go there just to go there. Don't say, oh yeah, because I want to eat this food or whatever. I mean, that's great. Don't get me wrong. But you should try to go with an intention of I want to take this class, or I really want to take a deep dive into the history of, XYZ. Because ultimately it just gives the traveling way more meaning. Don't get me wrong, travel is amazing and I love to travel. I plan to travel much more throughout my life. However, don't discount the value of the home that you have and the community that you hopefully have, and also the stability and the routine to be able to build something meaningful that you can look back on and be proud of. Because let's be honest, at your funeral, no one is going to be like, oh, it was so cool that he traveled all around the world. What people are going to say is, oh, he was such a nice guy. He was so funny. He was great to be around. In fact, I was at a family funeral a few years ago, and I'll never forget this. My cousin didn't mention, he essentially said that, she didn't care about, traveling or money or doing any of this stuff. Every time you went to her house, you knew that you were going to be fed, that you were going to laugh, and that you were going to have a good time. And I think that is so important. So I try to constantly live with this idea of death in the back of my mind, not in a bad or scary way, but just a refreshing reminder that what really matters at the end of the day is who you are, the values that you have, the impact that you have on other people's lives, and it's not necessarily how many countries you check off your travel list. Don't get me wrong, traveling can make you a better person. It can teach you lots of things, make you more humble, make you appreciate what you do have, but I don't think it should be the end-all be-all. Don't forget to appreciate the community and the people you have around you. Well, thanks so much for watching. Hope you like this video. Let me know your comments. I'd love to see if you disagree with me, and I appreciate you watching. Thank you.